Okay, so let's get right into it. We all have goals, right? We all have ambitions. But what if the single biggest thing holding us back, from achieving them, from keeping them, and from bouncing back when we fail, what if it isn't something out there? What if it's actually inside us? Today we're going to break down the core idea from Ryan Holiday's incredible book, Ego is the Enemy.
Man, this quote just cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? The biggest fight we're ever gonna have isn't with someone else, it's with ourselves. The battle is internal, and believe me, it's happening all the time, whether we realize it or not.
So, if we're going to fight this enemy, we first have to really understand it. What exactly are we talking about when we use the word ego?
Now, just to be clear, we're not talking about the Freudian ego you might have learned about in psychology class. We're not even talking about healthy self-confidence. The ego we're focused on here, well, it's that little voice that tells us we're better than we actually are, that we deserve more than we've earned. It's that feeling of superiority that just isn't backed up by reality.
Think of it like this. It's kind of like a spoiled kid living inside each of us. And that kid distorts how we see the world. It builds up these walls between us and reality, so we can't see things for what they are. It stops us from hearing honest feedback, from working with others, and ultimately from getting any better. You know who understood this perfectly? The legendary football coach Bill Walsh. And this is the key right here. Ego takes our best qualities and twists them into something ugly. It's like this subtle poison that turns our strengths into our biggest weaknesses. And a lot of the time, we don't even see it happening. And here's the thing. This is not a problem you just solve once and you're done. Oh no. Ego attacks us at every single stage of our lives and our careers. Holiday's book breaks our journey down into these 3 distinct phases. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out, if you've already made it to the top, or if you're dealing with a major setback, ego is right there, every step of the way, just waiting for a chance to trip you up. So think about what that really means. Ego can keep you from ever starting in the first place. It can destroy everything you've built once you find success, and it can prevent you from ever getting back on your feet after you fall. The stakes? Well, they couldn't be higher. So what's the antidote? What are we aiming for? It's this, right here. To be humble when we're reaching for something, to be gracious when we achieve it, and to be tough as nails when we fail. By actively keeping our ego in check, we can handle each of these stages and build something that actually lasts. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we put it into practice? Well, the battle starts from day one. So for the rest of our time here, we're going to focus on some super practical strategies for that first critical stage, the aspiration phase. How do you fight ego when you're just getting started?
All right, our first strategy is all about action. You see, ego loves to talk. It just craves that validation it gets from telling everyone what we're about to do. But the actual work, that's quiet, that's humble, and that's what actually gets things done. This is such a great cautionary tale. You've got this guy, Upton Sinclair, who literally wrote a book about his future success as governor before he was even elected. He was already playing the part in his own mind, he'd already won. And that ego-fueled talk, that premature victory lap, it sucked away all the energy he needed for the actual campaign. The result? He got crushed.
And that's the trap of talking too much. Our brains can actually confuse talking about a goal with making real progress toward it. Every minute you spend bragging about your plans is a minute you're not actually working on them. Real strength comes from the silence of just doing the work.
This brings us to a really fundamental choice that we all have to make. Are we focusing on actually accomplishing something real? Or are we just obsessed with looking a certain way, with having a certain title? This incredible question comes from a legendary military strategist named John Boyd. He would pose this to his young proteges. The path of to be is all about titles, getting recognized, and compromising to get ahead. But the path of to do, that's about the work itself.
Let's break it down. To be is completely driven by ego. It's always asking, how will this make me look? On the other hand, to do is driven by purpose. It asks, does this help me achieve my mission? Choosing the right path here, well, it changes absolutely everything.
The final strategy for our ascent is maybe the single most important defense we have against ego. Always, always maintaining the mindset of a student, no matter how much you think you already know.
I absolutely love this story. So Kirk Hammett from Metallica gets the job of a lifetime, right? He joins one of the biggest bands in the world. And what's the first thing he does? He hires a guitar teacher to get better. He knew he hadn't made it. He wasn't a finished product. That humility, that willingness to learn, that's what separates the greats from the people who are just a flash in the pan.
The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it perfectly. 2,000 years ago? Ego shuts your mind down. It tells you you're done, you've arrived, you know it all. But a true student is like a sponge, always open, always absorbing, because they know that true mastery is a journey, not a destination.
So as we wrap things up here, it all really comes down to a series of choices. Choices that you and I make every single day.
Are you going to talk or are you going to work? Are you going to chase validation or are you going to chase mastery? Are you going to pretend you know everything or are you going to admit you still have a lot to learn? See, this isn't some big one-time decision. It's a constant daily practice.
And in the end, it all comes back to John Boyd's profound question. Every day, life presents you with this choice, to be or to do. And your answer to that question will determine not just what you accomplish, but who you ultimately become.